Starting over isn't easy. When everything feels like it's falling apart, it's natural to feel lost, overwhelmed, or even hopeless. But no matter how deep the low point, rebuilding your life is possible. This isn't about quick fixes or sudden miracles. It's about taking small, steady steps each day to create a better future for yourself. You don't have to figure everything out all at once. Instead, you can focus on what's right in front of you, the next right thing to do. This journey is about real change that lasts. It's about understanding where you are without judging yourself, taking responsibility for your choices, and building habits that support your growth. It's about learning how to treat yourself with kindness when things get tough and surrounding yourself with people who encourage you. Every chapter of this book gives practical advice you can use immediately. You'll find clear, simple steps to improve your mindset, your routine, and your goals. What you'll learn here isn't just theory. It's a plan you can follow even on days when motivation is low or life feels hard. By committing to small actions and tracking your progress, you will see yourself grow. You will build strength, resilience, and confidence. This process isn't easy, but it's possible, and you don't have to do it alone. Stick with it, and you'll create a life that feels more in your control, more hopeful, and more fulfilling. If you're ready to start rebuilding, this is your guide. Each part of this book breaks down what it takes to move forward one step at a time. It will help you find the power within yourself to keep going, even when it's difficult. This is about becoming the person you want to be by making small, consistent choices every day. Take a deep breath. This is the beginning of something real. Chapter 1. Accept where you are without shame or blame. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not a failure. You are a human being standing at a low point in life, and that does not make you any less worthy of respect, peace, or growth. The first and most powerful decision you can make right now is to accept where you are without shame or blame. That's the foundation for rebuilding yourself. Until you stop resisting your current reality, you'll keep dragging the weight of denial and guilt everywhere you go. But the moment you accept your present situation without attacking yourself or blaming others, something shifts. You stop hiding. You stop pretending, and you begin to breathe again. This is not about giving up. This is about telling the truth. You don't need to spin a story around what happened. You don't need to explain every choice or justify every mistake. You are here now, and that is enough to begin. It's tempting to fight the truth. To say, I shouldn't be here. I should be further along. I shouldn't have trusted that person. I shouldn't have wasted that time. But the truth doesn't care about should. The truth is quiet. It doesn't argue. It simply waits for you to be still enough to hear it. And when you do, it says, this is where we are. This is what we have. This is what we'll work with. That's how healing begins. Not with denial, not with punishment, but with honest acceptance. You may feel lost. You may feel humiliated. You may feel like you've disappointed people or betrayed your own potential. And those feelings are valid. But they are not permanent. You don't need to live under the weight of those emotions forever. You can feel them fully without letting them define who you are. Shame says you are not enough. Acceptance says you are human. Shame says this is the end. Acceptance says this is the beginning. You are not your lowest moment. You are the person who lived through it and is still willing to rise. Real acceptance is not passive. It is not laziness or apathy. It's not saying, I guess this is my life now. It's not resignation. Real acceptance is courage. It takes strength to stand in the wreckage of what used to be your life and say, this is what's left, and I will start again. That kind of mindset is rare, And it is powerful. It doesn't rely on motivation. It relies on maturity. It doesn't ask for applause. It simply does what needs to be done. Stop asking why it all went wrong. Stop trying to replay every scene and correct every mistake in your head. The past will not change, no matter how long you stare at it, but your future begins the moment you stop looking back with regret and start looking forward with resolve. That's the shift that matters. That's the moment when everything begins to change, not instantly, not magically, but gradually, patiently, step by step. Accepting where you are also means dropping the comparisons. No one else's life path matters right now. It doesn't matter who is ahead of you, who looks more successful, who got luckier, or who made fewer mistakes. Your life is not a race. There is no scoreboard. The only thing that matters is whether you are becoming the kind of person you respect. If you are, then you're doing well. If you're not, then you still can. There is no expiration date on growth. There is no age limit on change. Your journey is your own, and no one else can walk it for you. If you've hit rock bottom, you've already survived what most people fear the most: loss, failure, isolation, or starting over. That means you're stronger than you think. You've been tested, and you're still here. And that alone is evidence of resilience. So many people never face the truth of their situation. They hide behind distractions. They stay busy enough to avoid reflection. But you, standing here and reading these words, are facing it. That matters. That is courage. That is character. Here's what you can do today. Take a quiet moment and sit with yourself. Not to judge, not to explain, just to be honest. Ask yourself, where am I right now, really? Emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually. Be specific. Be honest. Then breathe. Don't try to fix anything yet. Just sit with the truth of where you are without running from it. That's your starting line. That's what we work with. You can write it down. You can say it out loud. But stop avoiding it. Stop pretending you're fine if you're not. Stop acting like you're okay if you're breaking inside. This is your life, and your healing begins with honesty. Not with grand plans or promises. Not with pretending to be positive. Just honesty. If you're in pain, admit it. If you're angry, say it. If you're scared, face it. You don't need to broadcast it to the world, but you need to tell the truth to yourself. You may be facing consequences. You may be cleaning up messes. You may be waking up every day feeling defeated, but that doesn't mean you're done. That means you're human. That means you're in the middle of something hard. And that's okay. We are not defined by the moments that broke us. We are defined by what we do next. And what you can do next is accept this moment without shame or blame, and take responsibility for the next one. It's not your fault for everything that happened to you, but it is your responsibility to decide how you move forward. That difference matters. Blame focuses on the past. Responsibility focuses on what's next. And once you stop blaming others or yourself, you clear the space for real action. You don't need to forgive everyone right away. You don't need to have all the answers. But you need to stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. This is your life. You must take it back. You may be alone. You may be misunderstood. But you are not powerless. Power comes back the moment you stop feeling like a victim and start acting like a builder. Rebuilding your life starts with accepting the bricks you've got. Some are broken, some are cracked, some are heavy. But they're yours, and you can use them. Start small. Maybe you clean your room. Maybe you return a call. Maybe you make one healthy meal. Maybe you take a walk instead of staying in bed. These are small actions, but they are signs of movement. They tell your brain that you are not stuck, that you are doing something, that you are taking the pieces and making something new. And over time, those small steps build momentum. They build a new kind of confidence, not the fake kind that relies on achievements, but the quiet kind that comes from integrity. You don't have to do it all today. You don't have to fix everything this week. But you do have to start. And starting begins with accepting what is. If you pretend everything is fine, you'll stay stuck. If you beat yourself up, you'll drain your energy. But if you calmly accept this moment as your reality, you can start building the next one. Acceptance doesn't mean you like everything. It means you're done arguing with reality. It means you're choosing peace over chaos, clarity over denial, growth over guilt. It doesn't mean you're proud of your mistakes. It means you're willing to learn from them. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're shifting into something stronger, something honest and deliberate and grounded. This chapter is not meant to give you false hope. It's not about pretending everything is going to be easy or quick. It's about teaching you the only way to truly rebuild by starting from the truth. And the truth is, you are here, and you are ready. Maybe not confident, maybe not sure, but willing, and that is enough. You don't need more motivation. You need clarity. You don't need inspiration. You need direction. And that begins with acceptance. Everything you build will stand on this foundation. If you try to skip it, you'll end up repeating old patterns. But if you take the time to really accept where you are, you will move forward with power and purpose. This is your new beginning. Not because life is suddenly easier, but because you are done pretending. You are ready to be real, ready to be honest, ready to face life as it is and build from there. That choice changes everything. You're not rebuilding the person you were. You're building someone wiser, stronger, more focused, more compassionate. This version of you will not rise overnight, but it will rise, one step at a time, and the first step is this: accept where you are without shame or blame. Own your reality. Take a deep breath, and move forward with quiet courage. The path ahead is yours to create. Walk it with your eyes open and your head held high. No more denial, no more hiding, just truth, strength, and the next step. You are not starting over. You are starting wiser. That is the power of acceptance. That is where your real life begins. Chapter 2. Take full responsibility for every part of your life. If your life is not where you want it to be, you have one option that changes everything: own it. Not parts of it, not just the pieces that feel good or make sense, but every single part of it. No matter who hurt you, no matter what you lost, no matter what went wrong, the power to move forward begins when you stop waiting for someone else to fix your life. Responsibility is not punishment, it is freedom. It is not about carrying guilt, it is about reclaiming power. As long as you keep pointing outside yourself, nothing will change. When you point inward, everything becomes possible. Most people never fully take responsibility. They say they want change, but they blame their past, their parents, their boss, their partner, their luck. They hand over control without realizing it. When you blame, you give someone else the steering wheel. But this is your life. You are the one who must drive it. You may not have chosen every circumstance, but you are responsible for how you respond to it. That is your role now. That is your job. And it is the most important one you'll ever have. You will never create a new life while living with a victim mindset. A victim waits. A victim hopes someone will come fix it. A victim makes excuses and justifies staying stuck. But when you take responsibility, you stop waiting. You act. You learn. You adjust. You refuse to be controlled by the past. That's when change begins. That's when your new story starts. Not because you got lucky, but because you made a decision. If you feel lost, if you feel behind, if you feel like life knocked you down too hard to get back up, start here. Say the words, "This is mine." Say it without anger. Say it without shame. Say it like you mean it. Say it to every part of your life. The broken finances, the failed relationships, the missed chances, the habits that no longer serve you. Say it to the exhaustion, the regret, the confusion. Say it like someone who is finally ready to rise. Because taking responsibility is not just about taking the blame, it's about taking the power. No one is coming to rescue you. That's not a harsh truth. It's a gift. Because once you stop expecting a rescue, you stop waiting and start building. You begin to shape your life with your own hands. You stop blaming the world and start making your world better in small, consistent ways. The sooner you stop saying, "if only," the sooner you start saying, "what now?" You don't need the world to be fair to move forward. You need clarity, consistency, and courage. That's what responsibility gives you. Taking responsibility means you stop lying to yourself. It means you stop saying you're trying when you're avoiding. It means you stop saying you didn't have a choice when you chose comfort over discipline. It means you stop calling bad habits survival when you're just afraid of doing the work. This is not about perfection. This is about being honest. And that kind of honesty is rare. It's hard, but it's also what separates people who change from people who complain. If you're not happy with your health, you're responsible for what you eat, how you move, and how you treat your body. If you're not happy with your relationships, you're responsible for how you communicate, how you show up, and who you let into your life. If you're not happy with your mindset, you're responsible for what you consume, how you think, and the energy you bring into your day. No one else can do this for you. And that's not bad news. That's the best news, because it means you're not stuck. It means you're not helpless. It means you have more control than you think. You may have been raised with limits. You may have gone through trauma. You may have had doors slammed in your face. And none of that is your fault. But none of that can be your excuse either. Life does not hand out fairness equally. That's reality. But your responsibility is not to fight reality. It is to rise above it. It is to do what you can with what you have, not wait for a perfect moment that never comes. Start by being brutally honest. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What do I keep blaming on someone else? Where am I acting like I have no control when I really do? Write it down. Look at it. Own it. That's how you grow, not by being hard on yourself, but by being clear. If you want real change, you must get used to being uncomfortable. Responsibility is uncomfortable at first. It strips away every excuse, but it also gives you something no excuse ever will: progress. It's easy to say it's someone else's fault. It's easy to say life is too hard. But easy choices lead to hard lives. Hard choices lead to freedom. The choice to take full responsibility is one of the hardest. It's also one of the most rewarding, because it is the moment you stop drifting and start directing. The moment you stop living by reaction and start living by decision. That shift is quiet, but it is powerful. You will slip. You will make mistakes. You will want to fall back into old patterns, but when you take responsibility, you stop turning slips into stories. You correct yourself and keep going. You don't spend days blaming others or beating yourself up. You simply take the lesson, make the adjustment, and move forward. That is maturity. That is growth. That is what rebuilding really looks like. This is how you get your life back. You do it by saying yes to full ownership. You do it by waking up each day and asking what is in my control today. Then you do that, and you do it again tomorrow. And slowly you build confidence, not the fake kind that depends on outside validation, but the real kind that comes from keeping promises to yourself. That's what changes your identity. That's what rewrites your story. You don't need to fix everything in 1 week. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to keep showing up for your own life. Keep choosing action over excuses. Keep asking better questions. Keep staying honest. Because over time, responsibility turns chaos into clarity. It turns regret into wisdom. It turns rock bottom into a new beginning. You have what it takes. Not because you feel ready, but because you are willing to take the wheel. This is not about being perfect. This is about being real. Real enough to face your life as it is. Strong enough to stop blaming the world. Disciplined enough to take ownership of your choices. And humble enough to keep learning as you go. No one builds a great life by accident. It is built with intention. It is built by someone who decided, no matter how hard it gets, I will not hand over my power. I will not wait for permission. I will not wait for the perfect time. I will take full responsibility for every part of my life, and I will keep going until I build something better. Not just for me, but for the people I care about. That is strength. That is leadership. That is what real change looks like. Chapter 3. Build a simple daily routine you can control. When your life feels out of control, the first thing you need is something small you can count on. That's where a simple routine becomes your anchor. You don't need a complex system. You don't need to fill every hour with productivity. You need a few clear actions you repeat every day that remind you who you are becoming. When everything feels uncertain, consistency becomes your foundation. A basic daily rhythm gives your mind structure and your body direction. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things, steadily and intentionally, even when motivation fades. Most people overthink their routines. They try to plan every detail, then get overwhelmed and stop. The truth is, change begins with what you repeat, not with what you imagine. A daily routine isn't meant to impress anyone. It's meant to ground you. It should be built around things that matter, not things that distract. Start small. Choose a time to wake up. Pick one healthy thing to eat. Choose a quiet moment to reflect. Move your body in some way. These don't have to be perfect. They have to be yours. You're not trying to build someone else's life. You're trying to rebuild yours from the ground up. You need a few daily wins you can control, no matter how messy the rest of life gets. These are your non-negotiables. They are simple, doable, and meaningful. When you stick to them, even in hard seasons, you remind yourself that you are not powerless. Every time you show up for your routine, you rebuild a little more of your identity. You prove to yourself that discipline is possible. You no longer wait for the world to calm down. You create your own peace through structure. A routine doesn't have to take hours. It doesn't have to be Instagram-worthy. It just needs to be yours. If you've been through chaos or burnout, your routine is your reset button. It slows you down. It brings order back into your day. It gives your brain a break from reacting to everything. A calm structure teaches you to live on purpose instead of on autopilot. And the beauty of it is that it can be as flexible or as firm as you need it to be. But the moment you begin skipping it without reason, you start drifting again. That's why it must be simple enough to keep no matter what. Start your morning the same way every day. Even if it's just making your bed, drinking water, and sitting in silence for 5 minutes, make it yours. These little steps signal to your brain that it's time to start fresh. They give your mind direction before the distractions arrive. In the evening, do the same. Choose one small way to close your day. Reflect on what went well. Note what you want to improve. Disconnect from the noise. This isn't about perfection. It's about presence. You're not racing. You're learning to lead yourself, one step at a time. As your routine becomes familiar, your mind will resist it less. In the beginning you may forget. You may feel bored. You may feel like it's not working. But this is where you must persist. Routines are not meant to excite you. They're meant to stabilize you. They're the invisible thread that holds you together while you rebuild your strength. They become the rhythm beneath your healing. You won't always notice the progress day to day, but if you stick with it, the person you become over time will be unrecognizable compared to who you were at rock bottom. One reason routines work is that they reduce decision fatigue. When you already know what to do each morning, you don't waste energy on choices that don't matter. That energy can now be used for growth, reflection, and meaningful action. It also helps when life throws you into emotional storms. Your routine becomes a calm place you return to. It holds you steady when everything else shifts. You don't need to think your way through everything. You just follow the structure you've built. Don't wait until you feel ready to start. Create your routine now, even if it's imperfect. Action brings clarity. As you follow it, you'll learn what needs adjusting. Keep it short. Keep it clear. Keep it purposeful. Include only what actually serves you. This is not a performance. This is training. You're training your brain to trust structure again. You're training your emotions to settle into rhythm. You're giving yourself something to depend on when motivation disappears. There will be days when you slip. There will be nights when you're too tired. That's part of the process. But the point of a simple routine is that it's easy to return to. You don't have to start from zero every time. You pick up where you left off. You show up the next day. You don't quit because one day went sideways. That's how real discipline is built. Not through perfect streaks, but through consistent returns. The real benefit of a routine is not in what you do, it's in who you become. You start to see yourself differently. You're no longer someone who waits for change. You're someone who shows up for it daily. This quiet shift in identity changes everything. You stop relying on hype and start depending on systems. You stop chasing quick fixes and start living with patience. You stop waiting for life to calm down before taking action. You build the life you want inside the one you have. As your routine becomes more natural, you can add to it slowly, but never lose the simplicity. Overcomplicating your day will eventually wear you out. Growth comes from depth, not complexity. Choose activities that center you. Read, write, walk, stretch, hydrate, plan. Whatever builds you up, include it. Whatever drains you or distracts you, leave it out. This is your design. You get to shape it. You get to test it. You get to build a life that works for your mind, your body, your values. Remember, the purpose is not to stay busy. The purpose is to stay focused. A routine helps you stop reacting to life and start living with intention. It makes your goals visible. It gives your mind a place to rest. It frees up energy to grow. And when you've been at rock bottom, those small wins add up quickly. You realize that momentum doesn't begin with big leaps. It begins with quiet consistency. So ask yourself, what do I want my mornings to feel like? What can I control in the first hour of my day? What choices do I want to make before the world starts demanding things from me? Then make those choices part of your routine. Protect that time. Treat it like an appointment with yourself. It doesn't matter how small it is. What matters is that you keep it. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're trying to build a new foundation. And the way you build anything that lasts is brick by brick. Your routine is those bricks. One morning at a time, one habit at a time, one clear step after another. You don't need to control everything. You just need to control the things that move you forward. And when you do that long enough, you'll look back and realize that your entire life changed because you decided to master your days. Chapter 4. Cut out every habit that weakens your mindset. The way you think is shaped by what you do repeatedly. If you want to rebuild your life, you cannot carry the same habits that once broke you. Some habits feel harmless at first, but slowly wear down your confidence, clarity, and strength. If you want to reclaim your mind, you have to be honest about what weakens it. It won't be comfortable, but it will be freeing. The longer you ignore habits that drain you, the harder it becomes to rise. Real change starts when you look at your patterns without excuse or distraction and begin cutting out anything that pulls you backward. You know which habits steal your energy. You feel it after every wasted hour. You feel it when you scroll endlessly and compare yourself to people you don't even know. You feel it when you speak to yourself in a way you would never speak to someone you love. You feel it when you stay up too late, skip movement, numb your emotions, or surround yourself with people who feed your doubt. You don't need a list. You need to tell the truth. What are you doing that keeps you small? What choices are you making that go against the person you want to become? The mind becomes what it's exposed to. If you constantly feed it distraction, it forgets how to focus. If you feed it negativity, it forgets how to believe. If you feed it fear, it forgets how to act. And all of this happens quietly. Bad habits don't announce themselves. They show up slowly. One late night becomes 5. One missed workout becomes a month of fatigue. One negative thought becomes a belief. Before you know it, your entire inner world is built on what you tolerate. If you want peace and strength, you need to make room for it. You can't think clearly when your day is full of emotional noise. Start with your daily inputs. Look at the information you consume. Are you feeding your brain something that challenges you or something that numbs you? Are you reading things that expand your mind or things that stir up insecurity and fear? What you feed your mind becomes your perspective. And if you're constantly consuming outrage, gossip, self-doubt, or escapism, your mindset will reflect that. Take back control of what you allow in. You don't need to respond to every notification. You don't need to scroll until your mind goes numb. You need space to think, breathe, and decide who you want to be. Then look at how you speak to yourself. Most people are carrying a constant stream of self-criticism and don't even realize it. They've gotten used to tearing themselves down, judging their every move, and expecting failure. This is a habit too, and it's one of the most damaging. If your inner voice is hostile, it's not a reflection of truth, it's a reflection of repetition. The good news is that it can be changed. You don't need to lie to yourself, but you do need to start speaking from a place of discipline and support. You can hold yourself accountable without shame. You can push yourself to grow without calling yourself a failure. Every time you choose a stronger thought, you reshape your mindset. Your environment also plays a role. Look around at the habits of the people you spend time with. Are they focused, honest, and supportive? Or do they feed your distractions, doubts, and excuses? You may not be able to change your entire environment overnight, but you can be selective with your time. You can set limits with draining people. You can make space for silence instead of noise. You can protect your attention like it matters, because it does. Every moment of your day is shaping the way you think and feel. If you want to change your life, you must protect your mind first. There are also physical habits that affect your mental state more than you realize. Skipping sleep, living off processed food, avoiding movement, all of these wear down your mental strength. The body and mind are not separate. When you treat your body poorly, your mind becomes foggy, reactive, and tired. You can't build resilience in a state of physical exhaustion. Cutting out these habits doesn't mean chasing perfection. It means choosing practices that give you energy, not take it away. It means treating yourself with respect, not indulgence. It means seeing discipline as self-care, not punishment. One of the hardest habits to break is the habit of escaping. People use entertainment, food, alcohol, relationships, and even busyness to avoid feeling pain. But escaping doesn't heal you. It delays the healing. When you distract yourself from your emotions long enough, they don't disappear, they build up, and eventually they come out through anxiety, fatigue, or anger. If you want to rebuild your mindset, you need to face your emotions head-on. Sit with them. Listen to what they're trying to tell you. Then respond with courage, not avoidance. Strength grows when you stop running from yourself. Cutting out weak habits also means letting go of the belief that growth should feel easy. Many people stay stuck because they expect motivation to carry them. But motivation fades. Habits remain. You need to build systems that support you, even on the hard days. You don't need to feel inspired every morning. You need to know what to do when you don't. That means building default actions that protect your mental clarity, like waking up at the same time, planning your day, limiting distractions, and doing something meaningful before the world pulls at you. These habits become your armor. This process takes honesty and patience. You can't change everything at once, but you can begin removing one habit at a time. Start with the habit that's doing the most damage. Replace it with something that brings strength or peace. If you scroll your phone first thing in the morning, replace it with 5 minutes of stillness. If you talk to yourself like a failure, write down one thing you did well that day. If you stay up too late watching content that drains you, shut your devices off an hour earlier. These are not small changes. These are turning points. Every time you remove a habit that weakens you, you create space for something that strengthens you, and over time, your entire mindset shifts. You become more focused. You become more grounded. You stop reacting to everything. You start choosing your responses. You stop waiting for life to change. You begin living with clarity and conviction. That's how real growth happens, not through information alone, but through disciplined action. The cost of keeping weak habits is too high. They take your energy, time, and focus. They fill your life with noise and distraction. They make you doubt yourself. They keep you busy but unfulfilled. If you want peace, if you want power, if you want progress, you must make different choices. Not once, but every day. You're not just cutting out habits, you're reclaiming control. You're choosing strength over comfort. And that choice, repeated often enough, becomes the new foundation of your life. Chapter 5. Choose one goal and take action every day. When everything in life feels like it's fallen apart, the idea of having a goal can feel distant. Survival becomes the focus. Just getting through the day feels like a challenge. But if you stay in that place too long, your mind begins to believe that existing is all there is. What changes that is not a long list of ambitions or a detailed 5-year plan. What changes it is the decision to choose one clear goal, something meaningful, specific and within reach, and to take consistent action toward it every single day. The goal doesn't have to impress anyone. It doesn't need to be dramatic or grand. It only needs to matter to you and give your days a sense of purpose beyond just making it through. When your life has been knocked down to the foundation, that's when your next step matters the most. It's not about how fast you rebuild. It's about what you rebuild with. A scattered mind can't make progress. Too many goals dilute your focus and fracture your energy. But when you choose one goal, one direction, you give yourself something to aim for. That focus becomes a quiet force inside you. You start to wake up with more direction. You begin to move with intention. You know what you're working toward, and that brings structure to the chaos. Choosing one goal is not a limitation, it's a strategy. It's the discipline to say no to distractions. It's the strength to stop chasing 10 things at once. It's the clarity to stop pretending you can do everything. Most people overwhelm themselves trying to fix their whole life in 1 week. They burn out because they spread themselves too thin. Real progress comes from narrowing your vision and building from the ground up. One habit, one task, one small win at a time. You choose one goal not because you lack ambition, but because you value your time, energy, and focus too much to waste it. Your goal might be rebuilding your health. It might be finding stable work, improving your finances, learning a skill, or simply showing up for yourself with discipline. Whatever it is, make it real. Make it clear enough that you can describe it in a single sentence. Vague goals create vague effort. If your goal is to feel better, define what better means. If it's to be more stable, outline what stability looks like. You can't hit a target you can't see. The more specific your goal, the easier it becomes to track your progress and build momentum. Once you've chosen that goal, your job is to take one step toward it every single day. That step doesn't have to be big. It just has to move you forward. Even if it's 10 minutes of focused work, one email sent, one chapter read, one walk taken, those steps matter. They add up. The most dangerous lie is that progress has to be massive to be meaningful. That lie keeps people waiting for the perfect time, the right mood, or a burst of motivation. But that moment rarely comes. The people who grow are not the ones who wait to feel ready. They are the ones who take consistent action regardless of how they feel. Discipline is more reliable than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline is a habit. It shows up even when you're tired. It moves even when the results are slow. It keeps you going when no one's watching. When you take action every day, you build discipline. And over time, that discipline turns into strength. Not loud, showy strength, but quiet, inner strength. The kind that helps you stay grounded in the middle of stress. The kind that helps you keep promises to yourself. The kind that reminds you who you are, even when life feels unstable. Every day you take action, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. That belief is vital. After hitting rock bottom, self-doubt becomes loud. You start to question your worth, your ability, your future. But every time you show up for your goal, even in small ways, you begin rewriting that story. You replace doubt with proof. You stop thinking you're stuck and start seeing that you're moving. Even if it's slow, even if no one else sees it, you will see it. And that evidence of effort becomes fuel. It's also important to expect resistance. The mind doesn't like change, even when it's for the better. You'll face days when your thoughts try to convince you to quit, to skip, to give in. That's normal. Don't take it as a sign that something's wrong. Take it as a sign that your old habits are being challenged. When that resistance comes, simplify your next step. Don't argue with your excuses. Don't spiral into overthinking. Just return to your one goal and ask, what's one thing I can do right now that moves me closer? Then do it. That's how you win those battles, by staying grounded in action. Your goal doesn't have to be exciting every day. It just has to be important enough that you refuse to let go of it. Some days it will feel inspiring. Other days it will feel like work. But the meaning behind it will carry you. You're not working for perfection. You're building progress. And progress is a powerful feeling. It gives you back your sense of control. It reminds you that no matter what life has taken from you, you still have the power to build. And that realization is everything. As you move forward, track your efforts. Not to pressure yourself, but to see your growth. You might not feel the change day by day, but when you look back and see all the steps you've taken, it will give you clarity. You'll see how far you've come, and that perspective can carry you through the hard days. Don't judge your progress by how fast things happen. Judge it by your consistency. Did you show up today? Did you take one step? That's what matters. That's what builds something real. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You're not in a race. You're not trying to impress. You're trying to rebuild a life that feels stable, meaningful, and strong. That process is personal. It doesn't need validation. It needs effort. Quiet, daily effort. The kind that turns into transformation without the noise. When you choose one goal and take action every day, you are rebuilding trust in yourself. You are creating a rhythm. You are anchoring your days in direction instead of drifting. And that is how you start to rise. Consistently, purposefully, from the inside out. Chapter 6. Speak kindly to yourself in every hard moment, when life feels heavy and the days stretch longer than your patience. Your inner voice becomes either your shelter or your storm. What you say to yourself in private moments shapes how you experience every difficulty. It's easy to speak with understanding to others who are struggling, to offer reassurance, patience, and care. But when it comes to your own pain, the tone often shifts. You criticize. You replay mistakes. You question your worth. That voice becomes sharp, and slowly it cuts into your strength. You begin to believe that your failures define you, that your past speaks louder than your potential. But no healing can grow from that soil. If you truly want to rebuild your life from the inside out, the way you speak to yourself during the hardest moments matters more than anything else. Self-kindness isn't about being soft on yourself or avoiding responsibility. It's about speaking truth without cruelty. It's about facing your flaws without losing your sense of worth. Life already brings enough pressure. You don't need to be your own enemy. What you need is a voice that steadies you when things fall apart. A voice that reminds you of your strength, not just your shortcomings. A voice that says, "This is hard, but I'm still here," instead of, "This is hard because you failed." That shift in language might seem small, but it creates a deep change. It builds resilience. It helps you rise without shame. When you're facing hard moments, disappointment, rejection, regret, grief, your mind looks for answers. If you've trained your thoughts to respond with self-blame, you'll spiral. You'll look at a setback and turn it into a verdict about who you are. But you can interrupt that habit. You can build a new pattern, one that says, "This is painful, but it's not permanent. I'm allowed to struggle and still move forward." Speaking kindly to yourself in those moments isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's the strength to see the full picture, not just the part that hurts. Most people talk to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. They call themselves names. They exaggerate their faults. They replay moments over and over, punishing themselves long after the moment has passed. But guilt without growth serves no purpose. And shame keeps you stuck. Real growth comes from honest reflection, not cruelty. You can hold yourself accountable without tearing yourself down. You can learn from your pain without drowning in it. You can face consequences without losing compassion for yourself. The words you choose matter. They shape your identity. Every time you respond to pain with harshness, you reinforce the belief that you are only worthy when you're doing well. But that belief is fragile. It means your self-worth crumbles every time life gets hard. Speaking kindly to yourself builds a stable foundation. It says, "I am worthy even in my lowest moment. I deserve patience while I learn. I am not defined by this difficulty." That belief doesn't make you complacent. It gives you the strength to try again. In practical terms, this means noticing your inner dialogue and choosing better language. When you make a mistake, resist the urge to say, "I always ruin everything." Say instead, "That was a setback, but I can recover." When you feel overwhelmed, don't say, "I can't handle this." Say, "This is a lot, but I'll take it one step at a time." When you're tempted to give up, don't say, "What's the point?" Say, "It's okay to feel tired. I'll rest, then keep going." These shifts don't erase the struggle, but they help you carry it with more strength. They help you stay rooted in possibility, not defeat. You are not weak for needing gentleness. You are not broken for feeling pain. You are human, and being human means facing moments that knock you down. What determines your future isn't whether you fall, it's how you treat yourself when you do. If you respond with cruelty, you stay down longer. If you respond with kindness, you rise with more awareness. Your response becomes a signal to your nervous system, your mindset, and your future actions. Kindness creates calm. Calm creates clarity. And clarity helps you choose better actions, even when your emotions feel heavy. This doesn't mean you ignore problems or sugarcoat reality. It means you face reality with courage and compassion at the same time. You acknowledge the truth without letting it become a weapon against yourself. This is especially important when rebuilding from rock bottom, because your progress won't be perfect. You'll have days when your plans fall apart. You'll face temptations to go back to old habits. You'll question whether anything is changing. In those moments, self-kindness is what helps you stay steady. It reminds you that failure is part of the process, not the end of it. You don't have to earn kindness. It's not something you receive only after you've succeeded. It's something you offer yourself as a daily practice, especially on the days when your mind wants to attack you, especially when your heart is tired, especially when nothing seems to be going your way, because those are the moments that shape who you become. Anyone can be kind when life is easy, but learning to speak gently when you're in pain, that's where real self-mastery begins. Start by paying attention to how you talk to yourself in silence. Catch the moments when your inner voice turns cruel. Interrupt it. Replace it. Practice it like a new language. Over time, that voice will change. And as it does, you will change. You'll stop being afraid of falling because you'll know that your response will be grounded in understanding, not punishment. You'll stop chasing perfection because you'll see that effort matters more than outcome. And you'll begin to trust yourself again, not because you never mess up, but because you know you'll respond with care when you do. Life won't always go as planned, But no matter what happens, you have the power to choose your tone. You have the power to be your own support system. You have the power to be someone who encourages, steadies, and strengthens yourself through every storm. That's not weakness. That's resilience in its highest form. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Speak kindly, not just when things are going well, but especially when they're not. That voice will become your anchor. That voice will become your strength. That voice will carry you through. Chapter 7. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. When you're trying to rebuild yourself from the ground up, one of the most powerful decisions you can make is choosing who stands beside you. Your environment, the people you speak to, listen to, and trust, becomes the soil in which your new self takes root. If you plant yourself in negativity, in constant criticism, or in shallow connections, it becomes nearly impossible to grow into strength. But when you surround yourself with people who genuinely want to see you rise, who recognize your potential even when you doubt it, everything changes. Those people don't fix your life for you. They don't have to. Their belief in you helps you believe in yourself. Their steady presence makes the hard days more bearable, and their energy gives you the courage to keep going when everything inside you wants to quit. Rebuilding your life isn't just about discipline, routines, and goals. It's also about protection. You have to protect your peace, your mindset, your progress. That means being intentional about who gets access to your thoughts, your time, and your trust. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table when you're trying to grow. Some people only show up to feed their ego, their complaints, or their judgments. Others only want to talk about the past or remind you of your mistakes. And there are those who act supportive but secretly hope you stay stuck because your growth threatens their comfort. You must be able to see these dynamics clearly and act with wisdom, not resentment, not fear, but clarity. You don't need a crowd. You need truth. You need presence. You need people who listen to you without rushing to fix you. You need people who remind you of your values when you lose focus. You need people who speak encouragement in your silence, not just when you look strong. Real support often comes quietly. It's not always loud praise or big gestures. Sometimes it's the person who checks in when you disappear, the one who doesn't question your pace but reminds you not to give up, the one who respects your boundaries and celebrates your small wins. That's the kind of presence that heals. If you've spent years around people who tear you down, mock your progress, or treat your dreams as a joke, you might not even know what healthy support feels like. It might seem foreign, but you will recognize it by how you feel after being around someone. Do you leave feeling drained or energized? Do you feel seen, or do you feel small? Do you feel safe to be honest, or do you wear a mask? Your body often knows before your mind catches up. Pay attention to those signals. They're telling you what words can't. And if you consistently feel worse after being around someone, you owe it to yourself to take a step back. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. People who lift you up don't try to control you. They don't need you to be perfect. They understand that healing is not a straight line. They're not threatened by your growth, and they don't compete with your progress. They're the kind of people who remind you of who you are when life makes you forget. They hold space for your struggle without using it against you, and they don't disappear when you're not at your best. These relationships don't just support your goals, they strengthen your character. They help you stay aligned with your values. They bring out your integrity, and they inspire you to become someone others can lean on too. You might find that as you grow, some relationships begin to fade. That's natural. Don't cling to people out of history or habit. Time spent with someone doesn't equal time earned. If a connection no longer aligns with your values, it's okay to move on. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about your peace to choose it. You're not judging people by their flaws. You're simply choosing what's best for your mental and emotional well-being. And that's not selfish. That's necessary. If you don't have supportive people around you right now, don't panic. Start with what you can control. Be that person for yourself. Speak the truth to yourself with respect. Honor your efforts. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. And as you raise your own standards, you'll start attracting people who do the same. Energy recognizes energy. When you walk in authenticity, when you act from values, you naturally draw others who live the same way. It takes time, but it happens, and those new connections will feel different, not because they're perfect, but because they're real. You don't have to explain your healing journey to everyone. You don't have to justify your boundaries or convince others to understand your choices. The people who truly lift you up will respect your path without needing all the details. They'll trust your process because they know what it feels like to rebuild something from the ground up, and they'll walk beside you without trying to outpace you or drag you backward. Their presence is a reminder that you're not alone, and that alone can shift the weight you're carrying. Building a strong inner circle doesn't mean cutting everyone off. It means being clear about what you need and what you will no longer tolerate. It means investing more time in relationships that nourish your spirit and spending less time trying to fix relationships that repeatedly hurt you. It means recognizing when someone adds value to your life and when someone only creates chaos. This is not about perfection. Everyone has flaws. This is about patterns. Pay attention to them. Someone who consistently drains your energy is showing you who they are. Believe them. You don't have to hate anyone to outgrow them. You can release relationships without bitterness. In fact, you can let go with love. Love for your peace. Love for your growth. Love for the person you're becoming. You can forgive someone and still choose not to give them access to your heart again. That's not cold. That's wise. And wisdom will take you further than anger ever could. As you build your life again, choose people who make that foundation stronger. Choose people who challenge you without belittling you. People who hold you accountable, not hostage. People who see your potential, not just your past. Rebuilding from rock bottom is already hard enough. Don't carry people who are pushing you back into the hole you just crawled out of. Make your relationships a source of strength, not struggle. Fill your life with conversations that lift your spirit, with actions that reflect mutual respect, and with people who want to grow too. That's how you build a life that lasts. That's how you protect your energy. That's how you rise. Chapter 8. Track your progress to prove you are growing. When you're changing your life, there will be moments when it feels like nothing is happening. You'll show up, day after day, doing what's right, staying disciplined, making better choices, and still feel like you're stuck. That's when most people quit. Not because they're weak, but because they don't see the reward. They can't measure the growth. They doubt themselves because they don't have proof that what they're doing is working. That's why tracking your progress isn't just a good habit, it's a lifeline. It gives you something solid to hold on to when your emotions try to convince you that you're not getting anywhere. It reminds you that even when results are invisible, effort is never wasted. Growth is often subtle. It doesn't always come with a loud breakthrough or a dramatic shift. Sometimes it's in the way you respond to stress. Sometimes it's in how you speak to yourself after failure. Sometimes it's in the fact that you showed up on a hard day without needing applause or recognition. These are the moments that matter most, but they're also the moments that are easiest to overlook. If you're not paying attention, you'll forget the progress you've made. You'll slip into old patterns of thinking, and you'll tell yourself you're not changing. But when you track your actions, when you reflect consistently, you create a mirror that doesn't lie. You can see your effort. You can see your decisions. You can see how far you've come, even if you're not where you want to be yet. You don't need an elaborate system. You don't need expensive tools. You need honesty. You need consistency. A simple journal, a checklist, a few notes at the end of each day. These small things build clarity over time. You don't do it for perfection. You do it for insight. What worked? What didn't? What patterns are helping you move forward, and which ones are holding you back? These answers don't show up by accident. You have to look for them. You have to slow down long enough to examine your life, not just live it. The days blur together when you're rebuilding. You might remember the highlights and low points, but the slow grind in between gets lost. Tracking helps you remember. It forces you to look at your habits with clarity. It reveals the progress you can't feel in the moment. And the more you track, the more you learn to separate effort from emotion. You stop judging your worth based on how motivated you feel. You start noticing how consistent you've become. And that shift in awareness changes everything. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying. You start seeing yourself as someone becoming. There will be days when progress feels pointless. You'll doubt your vision. You'll wonder if your goals even matter anymore. But when you have proof, written, recorded, measured, you can remind yourself of what's real. You don't have to argue with your inner critic. You just have to point to the evidence. Look at how many days you didn't quit. Look at the hard decisions you followed through on. Look at the moments you showed up when no one was watching. That kind of proof builds trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, your confidence grows from the inside out. It's no longer based on outcomes. It's rooted in character. You don't have to track everything, but you do have to track what matters most to your growth. Maybe it's how many days you stayed on track with your health. Maybe it's how often you wrote, studied, or worked toward your long-term goal. Maybe it's how you managed your emotions or stuck to your boundaries. Whatever it is, don't just let it pass unnoticed. Give yourself credit. Acknowledge the work you're putting in. When you keep a record of what you're building, you create momentum. Each day you record becomes a vote for your future. And those small votes add up faster than you think. Growth doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like boredom. Sometimes it feels like sacrifice. Sometimes it feels like you're doing everything right and still falling short. But when you track your progress, you start to see the bigger picture. You realize that success isn't about feeling great every day. It's about showing up on the days when you don't. It's about staying consistent through the uncertainty. It's about building trust in the process, even when the rewards aren't immediate. And the only way to truly see that is to record the journey, step by step, so you don't lose sight of how far you've already come. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Without it, you keep repeating the same mistakes. You make decisions based on emotion instead of data. But when you track your patterns, you notice what leads to growth and what leads to burnout. You see the difference between being busy and being effective. You realize that not all action is progress, and that clarity helps you adjust. It helps you move with purpose. It helps you stop wasting time on what doesn't work and double down on what does. You are not static. You are not stuck. You are not invisible. Your work matters. Your decisions matter. But if you never slow down to track what you're doing, you'll never fully appreciate your own strength. You'll keep chasing results without realizing how much you've already achieved. Progress is not just something you chase. It's something you record, protect, and build upon. And when you track it honestly, you remind yourself every single day that you are moving forward. You are creating a new version of yourself. That takes time. That takes discipline. That takes patience. But most of all, it takes awareness. And tracking your progress is how you build that awareness. It's how you remind yourself that every choice counts, that every day matters, that even on the quiet days when nothing feels different, you are laying bricks that will become the foundation of a stronger life. Don't wait until everything feels better to start tracking. Do it now. Start where you are. Be honest, be consistent, and be willing to learn from what you see. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to grow. And the more you track, the more you'll realize you already are. Chapter 9. Keep going when you feel tired or discouraged. There will be moments when your body feels heavy and your mind feels overwhelmed. Fatigue will press down on your shoulders like a weight that seems impossible to lift. Doubt will creep into your thoughts, whispering that you've gone too far or that the effort isn't worth it anymore. These are the moments when giving up feels like the easiest choice. But progress isn't about avoiding exhaustion or discouragement. It's about what you do when those feelings arrive. Keep going, even when the fire in your spirit flickers and the road ahead looks uncertain. Persistence in these moments is the difference between those who rebuild and those who remain broken. The truth is that feeling tired or discouraged isn't a sign of failure. It's a natural part of growth. When you challenge yourself, when you step outside of comfort, your body and mind respond with resistance. It's like your system is telling you to stop, because change is uncomfortable, but discomfort is not your enemy. It is a signal. It shows that you are pushing against old limits and that transformation is happening beneath the surface. The key is to recognize this resistance for what it really is, an invitation to keep moving forward with intention, not to retreat. When exhaustion or discouragement hits, pause for a moment, not to quit, but to listen. What does your body need right now? Rest, yes, but also clarity. Are you overwhelmed because you've taken on too much at once? Are your goals aligned with your true values, or are you chasing someone else's idea of success? Are you neglecting basic needs like sleep, nutrition, or connection? Sometimes the way forward requires a slight course correction, not giving up altogether. Taking care of yourself is not a sign of weakness, but a necessary step in sustaining the journey. When you honor your limits without making excuses, you build resilience rather than breaking under pressure. Keep going by focusing on what you can control. When motivation runs low, discipline becomes your greatest ally. Motivation is unpredictable and can vanish without warning, but discipline is a steady force you cultivate through habit. It means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means setting small, manageable tasks each day that you can accomplish no matter what. It means trusting that these consistent actions add up to real change. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It carries you through the toughest stretches when enthusiasm has faded. Remember that rest and persistence are not opposites. They work together. You don't have to push endlessly without pause. Sometimes the best way to keep going is to step back briefly, recharge, and return with fresh energy. A short walk, a few deep breaths, or even a moment of gratitude can reset your mindset. These small acts of self-care are not distractions. They are fuel. They give you the strength to face the challenges ahead with renewed clarity and courage. The important part is not how long you rest, but that you return to the journey with commitment. When discouragement threatens to paralyze you, remind yourself why you started. Connect to the deeper purpose behind your effort. What vision are you working toward? Who will benefit from your perseverance? What will your future self thank you for today? Anchoring yourself to these questions creates a powerful source of motivation that no temporary feeling can erase. Your reasons for rebuilding are stronger than any fleeting discomfort. Let them guide you when the path feels dark. It is helpful to break down your progress into smaller pieces during tough times. Instead of focusing on the entire distance you have to travel, focus on the next step. What is one thing you can do right now to move forward? Maybe it's sending an email, making a call, or writing a few sentences. When tasks feel overwhelming, shrinking them into tiny actions makes the journey manageable. Every small win reinforces your belief that you can keep going. Progress becomes tangible instead of distant. Building a mindset that embraces struggle as part of growth strengthens your endurance. Challenges are inevitable. Everyone encounters setbacks. What sets you apart is how you respond. Instead of allowing discouragement to stop you, learn to see it as information. Ask yourself what lessons you can take from difficult moments. What adjustments can you make? How can you strengthen your resolve? When you become curious rather than defeated, hardship becomes a teacher. Each experience, no matter how painful, adds to your wisdom and capacity. Your inner dialogue shapes how you face tiredness and discouragement. Speaking kindly to yourself during these times makes all the difference. Replace harsh criticism with understanding. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," try, "I'm doing the best I can right now." Celebrate effort rather than outcome. Encourage yourself as you would a close friend. This compassionate voice helps you persevere when external praise is absent. Self-kindness builds resilience and keeps you moving forward even when the road is tough. Surrounding yourself with support is vital when motivation dips. Share your struggles with people who believe in you. Seek out those who understand the journey and can offer encouragement or practical help. Isolation deepens discouragement. Connection creates strength. Knowing you are not alone makes the burden lighter. Whether through friends, family, mentors, or community groups, reach out when you need it. Others can remind you of your value when you forget it yourself. Progress is rarely linear. You will have days when you feel on top of the world and days when every step feels uphill. Accept this rhythm without judgment. Growth is a process, not a destination. Keep going by embracing patience with yourself and the timeline. Avoid comparing your journey to others. Focus on your own pace. Every day you persist, you build a foundation that supports the next day's effort. The cumulative effect of consistent action eventually breaks through exhaustion and discouragement. Finally, keep going because your future depends on it. The person you want to become is waiting on the other side of perseverance. You owe it to yourself to continue even when it's hard. This is not just about achieving goals, it's about mastering your own will and proving to yourself that you can endure. Each moment you choose to move forward rather than quit is a victory. These moments define your character. They create a story of strength and resilience that no hardship can erase. Keep going, not just for what you want to accomplish, but for who you want to become. Chapter 10. Commit to becoming better every single day. The decision to improve yourself is not a single moment, but a lifelong commitment. Each day presents a fresh opportunity to shape who you are, and the difference between where you are now and where you want to be lies in the small, consistent choices you make every day. Committing to becoming better means embracing progress as a daily practice, not as a distant goal. It means dedicating yourself to the slow, steady work of growth, even when the results aren't immediately visible. This mindset transforms every day into a building block, each action a step forward, no matter how small. Improvement does not require monumental leaps. It flourishes in tiny, deliberate adjustments that accumulate over time. This commitment demands patience because meaningful change rarely happens overnight. It asks for discipline because daily improvement requires effort and focus. It calls for humility too, since you must accept where you currently stand before you can move forward. Recognizing that growth is a continuous process keeps you grounded and prevents frustration when progress feels slow. The key is to show up for yourself daily, even when enthusiasm wanes or obstacles arise. To live this commitment fully, set your sights on incremental change rather than perfection. Perfection is an illusion that can paralyze progress. Instead, focus on being just a little better today than you were yesterday. This might mean reading a few pages of a book, choosing a healthy meal, taking a moment for reflection, or practicing patience in a difficult conversation. These small actions build momentum and reinforce the habit of improvement. Over time, these increments compound into significant transformation. What begins as a simple intention grows into an unshakable foundation of personal excellence. Building a habit of daily improvement involves clarity about what better means to you. Define specific areas in your life where you want to grow, whether mental strength, physical health, emotional balance, or relationships. When your goals are clear, your actions have purpose. Avoid vague intentions like, "I want to be better," without details. Instead, articulate what improvement looks like in practical terms. For example, if emotional balance matters, commit to practicing mindfulness or journaling your feelings each day. This clarity turns abstract ideas into achievable daily tasks. Accountability strengthens commitment. Tracking your daily progress helps you stay honest with yourself. Use a journal, checklist, or app to record your actions and reflect on outcomes. Seeing evidence of consistent effort, even small wins, fuels motivation. It also reveals patterns where you might need to adjust your approach. Accountability transforms improvement from a wish into an active practice, where you take responsibility for your growth rather than hoping it happens by chance. This discipline sharpens your focus and keeps you moving forward with intention. The journey of becoming better is deeply personal and unique. Avoid comparing your progress with others. Everyone moves at their own pace and faces distinct challenges. Comparison breeds discouragement and distracts from your own path. Instead, celebrate your personal milestones, however modest. Recognize the courage it takes to commit to change day after day. This self-recognition nurtures confidence and reinforces the belief that you are capable of growth. Honor your journey as your own and resist the urge to measure it against anyone else's timeline. Challenges will test your commitment. There will be days when setbacks or fatigue threaten to derail your progress. On these days, reaffirm your dedication by returning to your core reasons for change. Reflect on why improvement matters to you deeply. Remind yourself that consistency matters more than perfection. Even when you stumble, recommit to the process by taking the next small step. Growth is not about never failing. It's about refusing to give up. This resilience fortifies your commitment and shapes a character that thrives in adversity. Cultivating a mindset that embraces growth involves valuing the process over the outcome. Focus on the effort you put in daily rather than obsessing over results. Celebrate the discipline it takes to show up and do the work, regardless of immediate reward. This shift frees you from impatience and discouragement. When you value the journey itself, every day becomes meaningful. Improvement becomes a way of life, not a race to a finish line. This perspective encourages sustained growth, making you less vulnerable to burnout and frustration. Surround yourself with influences that support your commitment. Seek out people who encourage growth, share your values, and challenge you constructively. Positive social environments reinforce your habits and provide motivation when your own resolve weakens. Engage with books, podcasts, or communities that inspire self-improvement. Feeding your mind with wisdom and encouragement keeps your commitment fresh and vibrant. The company you keep and the content you consume shape your mindset profoundly, making it easier to remain dedicated. Reflection is a powerful tool for daily improvement. Spend time regularly reviewing your progress, challenges, and lessons learned. Honest self-assessment reveals strengths to build on and areas that need adjustment. It keeps your efforts aligned with your goals and helps you avoid repeating unproductive patterns. Reflection also deepens self-awareness, which is critical for sustained growth. When you understand yourself clearly, you make better choices and refine your commitment with greater wisdom. Commitment to becoming better every day is a declaration of self-respect. It says you value your life and potential enough to invest time and energy in your own growth. This commitment nurtures confidence and purpose. It builds a foundation for meaningful achievement and fulfillment. Over time, this daily dedication transforms not only your circumstances, but your character. You become someone who can face challenges with courage, adapt with grace, and inspire others through your example. The simple act of choosing to improve daily unlocks a life of possibility and strength. In the end, the power to rebuild yourself lies in the consistency of your daily choices. Each day is a fresh chance to commit to progress, no matter how small the step. This steadfast devotion creates a momentum that carries you forward through doubt and difficulty. It shapes a future defined by growth, resilience, and mastery of self. Choosing to become better every day is the most profound act of self-care and determination. It is the path to reclaiming your life and crafting the person you aspire to be.